Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm still getting things set up, but as you guys are aware, we had a very busy week this week. So give me 1 second and I'll test the audio and pull up the chat, and then we'll be good to get started. Yeah. Hello, Moto. So we are on this chat. And you'll notice that the thumbnail photo for this week is very similar to the one for last week. Last week we did the Matthews showroom with just an old picture of the Charlotte Matthews showroom for Tesla, and then this week is the same except the big Cybertruck in the front. So let's check out the audio real quick while Moto turns the lights on and off. Sorry about that. Okay, audio working. Let's move this over here. Go live and mute. There we go. And now for you guys' chat. Chat. Over here. Call her mommy, not gig. It's kind of rude. All right. She doesn't call me Kacey because too many syllables. Why'd you turn off the fan, child? It's hot in here. All right, that's the light. I want the fan on. There we go. All right, you can leave, but don't take my remote. There you go. Thank you. Down. What? You weren't done? You're too small for lollipops. Ah. What would your dentist say if he saw you eating a lollipop? Hmm? All right, so let's see. We don't know if chat works yet or not, but hey, if you're gonna cry, you can go to the other room, please. Okay, go see mommy. Thank you. Okay, so I didn't pull up any of the articles yet. We will talk about Cybertruck for sure once we get a little bit more people in the room. And we've got a lot of articles as well this week. Sorry, she's just whining now. It's kind of nap time. She skipped her other nap, so she should be napping now. Let's go. Yeah, so we have Cybertruck event. We're gonna leave that one for later. Later-ish. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, gotta find the window I was putting the news in. It moved on me. Oh, I covered it up. That's what happened. There we go. Now we'll open up some of the articles and pull them up to the screen so we can talk about them for a bit. So this one was pretty cool. People were complaining about battery prices, but we got good news for that. And then we're going to talk about IF metal, of course, because there have been developments with that. Interesting. So the Twitter behavior, if I open a Twitter notification, it'll overwrite the last Twitter window I have. But if I open it from the notepad, it'll put a new tab in the active window. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about IF metal in the beginning of the show, but there we are. Yeah, let's get them out of the way. We're going to break this out into its own window and move this one to where we can talk about it. Move tab to new window. Take these tabs, shove them up on the camera. There we go. Shove them up on the camera. Here we go. So we're going to share screen. Oh, now we've lost the mouse in the browser. How does that work? There we go. I'm going to share screen. This X post from Sawyer. So, average battery pack prices continue to hit new lows. Let's adjust our positioning here on the screen real quick. Well, not there. There. All right. So average battery pack prices continue to hit new lows, according to Bloomberg. I'm seeing the volume weighted average for in 2023 in real 2023 dollars. So from 2010, they were almost $1,500 a kilowatt hour, and today we've seen a 14% drop from 2022 to 2023, and batteries are almost free per kilowatt hour, it seems. I'd like a little more granularity on the bottom of that scale, but what did they say? It was like 135 or so. And we'd heard that number before, but that was coming from LG and GM. And then GM got in trouble with LG for saying that because they didn't want their numbers out there. And then Elon said that, that was kind of high for their raw cells. So, but he didn't want to give a real number either. So I'm imagining in a substantial volume that it would be still cheaper than 135 if you have everything set up straight. And some of the components that go into the typical lithium battery, they've also continued to drop as well, so that helps bring the price per kilowatt hour down even further. Let's see if they go into any of that. Nice cars are getting more expensive, EVs are getting cheaper. Doesn't take a genius to see where this is going. That's right, Holmars. Only going lower as battery production increases. It's funny that there is that establishing cost as an industry matures, it becomes a lot cheaper. That's just how it works typically. All the talk about government intervention is 10 years, or in 10 years, it won't be economical to build an ICE vehicle. Sustainable energy is already proving itself cheaper. Yeah, it's going to take care of itself, but without a hard stop, some of these companies are going to try to do business as usual. They're going to try and stifle the EV sales. They're going to do everything they can, kicking and screaming. Same way that they did that they're doing right now with not the end of ICE, but the regular emissions that they're complaining about. They agreed to this over 30 years ago. They worked with the government hand in hand, and now they're saying, "Oh, it's a surprise. How could we know that big trucks would not be able to meet the emissions?" And blah blah blah. It's like you knew all of the parameters. That's why you kept making the cars bigger, and then the trucks bigger, and then you cut the cars out altogether. You knew this was coming. You agreed to it. Why are you surprised now? You surprised that time works? That's what they're mad about. Da, da, da. It's been happening for decades and will continue for years to come. The price of lithium batteries fell 97% from 91 to 2018. It was 75.23 down to 181. I'm assuming that's still per kilowatt hour. Yep, neato. That chart should be a log scale. Yeah. Somehow OEMs can't make a profit on EVs. That is on them, because we've seen that all EV companies are like not all companies that make EVs, but companies that only make EVs. They are turning a profit on their vehicles just fine. Well, Polestar, Tesla, Rivian's on the way, but yeah, not all of them, but it's getting there. IRA gave a free $45 a kilowatt hour. Soon Tesla produce battery packs at greater than 100% gross margins. Maybe. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I guess this is us getting into IF metal. Let me take my medication real quick. So I was doing that when the baby jumped in my arms. We won't make it through the show if I don't do this. Like, oh, he was there, he was talking, and then his head hit the desk. Or worse, we'll get one of the sugar alarms. Who knows which one? Probably first the high, then the low. That's out of the way that way. Grab our water. I don't know if our ex viewers can post comments. I know that Facebook can, and it's working because Facebook hasn't blocked everybody's chat. And I know YouTube can because that's our number one chat every week. All right, so let's talk about IF Metal, get frustrated at them, and then move on to more interesting topics. All right, so this is coming from Nick in Sweden. Finally, breaking. DI reveals that Tesla is suing the state for suspended license plates. The electric car company Tesla is suing the state through Swedish Transport Agency because the company did not get access to registration plates for new cars, DI can reveal. So at the end of, or somewhere in last week's show, we were talking about how uh, PostNord had gone on sympathy strike and was not delivering the license plates for Tesla, and that Tesla was not allowed to go to the transport agency and pick up the license plates for their customers. And so they sued because uh, PostNord was the only carrier allowed to carry the plates, and they weren't allowed to go pick them up themselves, and no alternate arrangements were made. And uh, joining a union, having a union, and having a collective agreement with a union, all of those are optional by law in Sweden. And again, we're going to talk about this later in the show, like in a couple minutes. Uh, we're not seeing any Tesla employee, not any, but we're not seeing Tesla employees represented by IF Metal, or not represented, but in the union of IF Metal that want this. And IF Metal wants them in, regardless of if they want in. And so they're trying to strong arm Tesla into putting them in so then they can gather up all the employees there. But the employees said no, and Tesla said no. So they went on strike. But it wasn't a very effective strike because the employees didn't want it, so they're not in it, so they're not on strike because there's no one to strike. And so then IF Metal offered them 130% to go on strike and then later join IF Metal. However, we later found out that that doesn't include several uh, portions of the pay that you would get if you were just working. So it's actually a pay cut to join IF Metal to go on strike with the boost. And it's also a pay cut to let them represent you because the what they have worked out for everybody in Sweden, because it's by the union, what they worked out for everybody who works for IF Metal in Sweden is a lower pay package than what Tesla offers. And Tesla being a company, if they have an agreement, they're not gonna just out of the goodness of their heart pay you more than they've agreed to pay with the union. And depending on how their agreement with the union is set up, if it's anything like the ones in the state, they could get in trouble. The states, not the state of Sweden, they could get in trouble with their union for paying over. I know that's not universal, but paying over what they've already negotiated. So uh, there's no incentive for these employees to join this thing yet. Anyway, so PostNord is on strike, helping out IF Metal by not delivering the plates. The seizure of these license plates constitutes a discriminatory attack without any support directed at Tesla, the company writes. In documents submitted to this district court on Monday, Tesla also demands that the district court give the company the opportunity to collect the signs, or the plates in this case, from the sign manufacturer, Scandinavian Motor Center, during the time that the matter is handled legally. Tesla requests that the district court obliges the Swedish Transport Agency to ensure that the registration plates for the vehicles owned by Tesla, which have been registered in accordance with Regulation 2019 384 on vehicle registration and use, which has been assigned a registration number by the Swedish Transport Agency, come into Tesla's possession, it says in the documents. DI revealed, hey, what's up, Lee? Happy Sunday. um, the background that the sympathy measures for IF Metal strike against Tesla in the fight for collective agreements have meant that the PostNord does not deliver mail to Tesla. The Swedish Transport Agency has in turn referred to the fact that you may only use PostNord as a mail provider because you must follow the framework, this framework, uh, agreement for letter and parcel services. Through the agreement with the sign supplier, Tesla is also not allowed to collect the signs from the supplier, according to the Swedish Transport Agency. Our mission is to provide license plates through procured suppliers who have completed this by taking the steps by taking the signs to PostNord, explained Anna at the Department of Vehicle Information at the Swedish Transport Agency. Uh, Tesla goes to strong criticism of authority. I guess that was one of the original headlines translated. Through this unprecedented action, the Swedish Transport Agency has become a deeply harmful instrument in the labor market conflict, which affects Tesla and, above all, affects Tesla employees and customers, it writes in the court documents. Tesla demands that the courts decide on a so-called interim security measure and links it to a fine of 1 million kroner, or the amount that the district court finds reasonable, in order for Tesla to be able to collect the signs on its own. The interim security measure thus aims to ensure that Tesla and ultimately its customers are still provided with the registration plates by self-collection during the time that the trial is ongoing, which can happen if the Swedish Transport Agency gives consent to this. Such consent is not burdensome to the Swedish Transport Agency, but on the contrary is a trivially simple measure, Tesla believes, according to the lawsuit. So in this case, Tesla sued both the transport agency and PostNord. And now we'll go on to the next thing. Tesla employees, thanks, we're fine. Saying they don't want to strike. I think that's the link to the article we just read. And exactly 1 month since the strike, this happened. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. Due to the sympathy measures, the SMC has a dialogue with Tesla announced that SMC has the option, without the involvement of PostNord, to provide Tesla with the registration plates. That's coming. What we were going to talk about next is they won that court case very quickly. Tesla suing Transporten and PostNord. No translation needed. All right, so yeah, let's go on to the next one because that is the next one. All right. Next one. All right, so Tesla has won in Swedish court, and the Swedish transport agency must let Tesla collect its plates from the manufacturer of the Scandinavian Motor Center. So the court basically agreed with everything that Tesla had put forward during their suit, and they applied the 1 million kroner fine, and they said that they must allow them to go collect their plates themselves. What's going on, Timothy? Good to see you. Good to see you. So that is there. Elon says, thank you, Sweden. And let's go to the next one. This is the actual article that he linked there. And I think I translated it. Well, I had translated it. Let's translate it again. Read it. I want to translate it to English. There we go. Tesla gets its license plates out. They can pick up their plates from the manufacturer. If the transport agency does not agree within 7 days, a fine of 1 million kroner awaits. The district court decided on Monday afternoon. It is true that there's been a decision where they approved Tesla's action, says lawyer James Johannes Eriksson to this paper that we're reading here. Tesla, through its Swedish law firm Steltwalls, filed 2 lawsuits on Monday against the Swedish Transport Agency and PostNord. In the lawsuit against the Swedish Transport Agency, which submitted to the court, Tesla also demanded to receive the license plates that the Swedish Transport Agency has also prohibited the manufacturer of Scandinavian Motor Center from handing out directly to Tesla. And so what did they approve? They approved the application for interim relief, They say the Swedish Transport Agency must give consent for Tesla to pick up these plates from the license plate manufacturer under penalty of Swedish kroner of 1 million. That's right, within 7 days. What do you think about the decision from the court? I have no comment on the decision. Tesla will make any comments about the decision, says Erickson. So the lawyer didn't want to talk about it. It's probably smart. In the lawsuit against PostNord submitted to Solana District Court, Tesla also demanded an interim order that PostNord should hand over the shipments of license plates with Tesla. That one's going to be harder because they are part of a union, and the union is striking, although they have stolen the property at this point. So they would argue it's not stolen, it's just not moving. It's sitting on the shelf for safekeeping or whatever, but that's theft by definition. On Monday evening, Tesla wrote the following to Swedish radio. I got, it's gratifying with its decision. Tesla can continue to deliver new cars to its customers. We at the Swedish Transport Agency now need to analyze. Guessing there was a more elegant jump in the native language. We at the Swedish Transport Agency now need to analyze the decision and address what consequences this will have for us and what measures need to be taken to implement the decision. It's currently too early to say exactly what it would mean, writes the Swedish Transport Agency in a comment to the same paper we're reading now. However, tomorrow, if they haven't come up with a solution, they're going to have to pay 1 million kroner. So let's continue on because that wasn't the end of it. We finally heard again from the people who are at the being bounced around in all of this is the actual workers themselves. So, but before we get to that, let's hear from the lawyer of IF Metal. The IF Metal lawyer admits his family has a Tesla Model Y. The lawyer admitted that he did try to get his wife to purchase a BMW instead of a Model Y, but she refused. He said she's very strong-willed. I'm assuming that the car he drives is either furnished by whoever well, I guess he worked just for the union. So the union is providing him with his current car. And he said that now that they're suing, striking against Tesla, he shouldn't be seen driving his wife's car. And Will says at least he has a smart wife. Always listen to the wives, yes. Blame it on the wife. Power move. He obviously doesn't care about the safety of his family since he tried to get his wife to get a less safe car. I wouldn't call that a bad take. It's a true take. And yeah, you can say he cares, but obviously he doesn't care enough. Yes, because they want to extort Tesla does not necessarily mean they want to drive a crummy car while doing it. The irony. I bet he's using Spotify as well. They do not have a collective agreement. I'm sure he knows that. And that's very likely because the European Teslas, instead of shipping with, it's called Live by Live now. I don't know I don't recall at the moment what they used to call themselves. Start with an S. Either way, instead of what we have here for the default music player, their default music player in Europe is Spotify. All right. What's next? All right, so that's the same one. I don't need to switch to the article. We've already talked about it. Let's now open the next thing. I had an article with a link from the workers. I don't see it here. I want to just finish with IF Metal for the week and move on to other topics. Well, let's check Teslarati. I think they were one of the outlets that had it. Automakers handed a win with updated UV tax credit guidance in the U.S. Tesla 3 wheel drive long range. Oh yes, so that's something that came out. Not just the standard range vehicle, the long range is going to have a tax credit drop next year as well. Cybertruck. Oh, yes, this was one that I think we've got it. And Dan wanted us to talk about it. We'll pull that one up. Interesting. I'm not aware of this video. I'll have to look at that. I thought that was a joke. So apparently, if you stay on the Cybertruck page for a while, the little hedgehog will show up in the truck. Full video of the tractor pull, behind the scenes of the Rivet Open Story Theater. I wish these were dated because then I could just go to Monday. Oh, well, here's the exact one I was looking for. Tesla Sweden technician on IF metal strike. They didn't ask us how we are. So this is one of the Tesla technicians in the facility that IF Metal is trying to shove their boots into. Uh, Interesting. Oh, you guys aren't even seeing the same thing I'm seeing. There we go. A Tesla technician working in Sweden shared his 2 cents about the ongoing IF Metal strike. The conflict between IF Metal and Tesla Sweden put employees in a tough spot as some have joined the strike, but most have decided to continue to work. And this is a new development that they got some to join it. Can't see the article. Switch screens. Yep, I got you. Zachary says, "Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your great work. Aw, appreciate it." So, a Tesla technician in Sweden shared his 2 cents on the IF Metal strike. The conflict between IF Metal and Tesla Sweden. Oh, so some employees is doing some heavy lifting here. We're talking of the 190-ish people we're talking about right now. Maybe like 6 have decided to take them up on that 130% offer and go on strike. And, I support the right of those 6 people to join up in this nonsense. And if the majority of the Tesla workers go for it, then I'll support their right to do that. But as it is right now, it still feels that the union is it's like those people kind of came in, got hired while they were in the union, and then they're gonna try and shake it up. But everybody else doesn't want the new agreement. The other part of it is that sometime before the lawsuit with PostNord is IF Metal threatened, blackmailed some of the folks, saying that if they don't join in the strike, even if they're not part of IF Metal, that when they get another job outside of Tesla, that their names are being recorded, and that they'll not be allowed to join any workplace that has a union, or if they do get in, they won't get the protection of the union. So if they do go on strike, or they have a disability or something like that, then they'll tell them, "Oh, tough stuff. You didn't help us shove our way into the Tesla plant." So that could be where some of these people came from. Because it wasn't just blackmailing Tesla anymore. It's now they're trying to get the actual people who don't want them to acquiesce as well. So the Tesla technician who remained anonymous talked recently with Eckhart, a paper explaining why he does not support IF Metal's demand for a collective agreement. If I hadn't liked my job, if it had been as toxic as IF Metal says it is, then I would have changed jobs, said the technician. The Tesla worker was a member of IF Metal for 10 years, but he left the union shortly before the strike against Tesla Sweden in October. He also shared details about his relationship with the union. They didn't ask us how we are. I think that if you start a conflict this big, you should have been asked that question. The union has visited us several times, but has never asked any questions about how we are doing. They have only asked us to sign and turn heels when they get a no. I felt betrayed, he said. So basically, and sign this thing saying that you want Tesla to be with us. And he said no. And they turned their backs, left him in the cold. The technician's testimony is similar to that of other employees working for the automaker say, I said, so much of that of other employees working for the automaker, but may only be one part of the conflict between Tesla and IF Metal. And we're not going to hear a straight neutral story on this at all, because all the facts and details are coming from the people and the companies and the courts and the government, and they're all biased one way or another. So it's not going to be crystal clear. But if we can get enough of the stories, we can kind of build our own idea of what the picture is on the ground there. The conflict between Tesla and the Swedish union has three sides: the Texas-based automaker, IF Metal, and the employees. And most reporting leaves out the employees, except when they're saying what IF Metal says they're doing or says that they're hearing from the employees. But what IF Metal says is that they're, of or from the employees is never what we hear when the employees themselves speak. Exotic Geek says, so the union is becoming the traditional business, strong arming people to do their bidding. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. The Tesla technician who spoke to ECOT voiced what appears to be the opinion of most employees for working for the automaker. A collective agreement is not necessary. And again, that's because their package that they're receiving from Tesla is over and above what they'll receive from the union. And the union is right in that if they change their minds, they being Tesla, and the employees don't leave, which would be foolish, that they have no protections because there is no minimum wage in Sweden. However, as this employee said, you try to screw them over, they're just going to leave. So Tesla has incentive to not screw them over. And then if they want, before they decide to leave, they could all decide to join a different union or join IF Metal and then strike and try and get Tesla to sign up at one of them. I would be advising they pick another one, because the management has already been told to stop dealing with IF Metal other than passing the notes back and forth to headquarters. All right, so considering Tesla's stance against the collective agreement, the employees and companies' opinions align. On the other hand, IF Metal has pointed out that this is a culture clash. And from what I'm hearing from all the Swedes, it's not as a united front as it used to be. It still is very strong in favor of the unions there. That's just the Swedish way, they call it. But the unions are losing memberships left and right. And they could do this for a while because they've got over $1 billion in the bank of strike funds. All right, so we talked about the culture clash there. So we have tried to negotiate with them for a couple of years to reach our collective agreement, but they have declined that. I think this is a clash between the Swedish or the European culture and the American way of doing business, says the head of IF Metal. Okay, you could say that or think that all you want, but you could just also notice that you're not giving them a good deal. If you gave them a good deal, they would sign it. Give them something out of it. They're getting nothing out of this, so they want nothing to do with you. I know that the members have to pay. It sounds like the companies have to pay as well, because they're receiving a service of, hey, you're our collective bargaining representative. So that sounds like something you'd have to pay for. And Tesla's kind of cheap. They don't pay for stuff that doesn't directly get them return on investment. All right, so some Teslarati readers in Sweden have jumped into the conversation and shared their 2 cents on the topic. The comment below seems to align with IF Metal sentiments and the Tesla employees who have joined the union strike. So this is a comment they're quoting here. I don't think a regular employee can negotiate with a big company with a lot of lawyers and complex contracts that are difficult to read on purpose. That's kind of a weak argument, really, if you ask me. I negotiate with giant corporations all the time regarding my compensation package. And if it doesn't go the way I want, then I deal with it. I leave. It's not hard. I don't want coupons. It's Teslarati. What are they selling me? There we go. I agree that the union is not perfect and there are areas of improvement, but the union is one of the mechanisms that help the employee. Instead of removing it, we should change what is wrong. Well, it sounds like what is wrong is the union is not offering them a fair package. make a fair package, and they might be interested. Otherwise, there won't be a layer between the employee and the company. Noted the testimony reader. Why do you need a layer between you and the company if they're doing what you want? It's not the 1930s anymore. They're not trying to screw you left and right. I'm not saying that it's unnecessary. I'm just saying that if you're not adding value, why have something in between on principle? Just because this is the way we've always had it. This is the way it's going to continue to be. Show us, give me a reason to join this union. I'll join it. Shoot. All right, let's look at these comments real quick. Otherwise, there won't be a layer between the employee and the company. I'm not sure if I've been lucky or the field I've chosen a professional one, but I have never felt the need to have a layer between me and the companies I've worked for. Here's how it worked. I interviewed with the company. They provided a job offer with wages and benefits listed. I looked at these and decided to work for them, or not. Actually, in my case as well, I've turned down offers. In fact, very recently I did this. I was working for some companies that said, "Oh, we're going to require you to go back to the office." The main thing my job consists of on a day-to-day basis is I remote into people's computers, and I do the work, and then I go home. Why do I need to go to the office to remote into somebody's computer? It's not like there's some equipment or protections provided by the office that they can't give me over VPN for the work I'm doing currently. There have been in the past where I had to go to places to do stuff because of security or something like that, but I'm not doing that right now. So, and then it wasn't remoting. You were going into the customer's place to work directly on their facilities, and that's different. So why would you want me to get in the car and drive for half an hour to an hour, depending on traffic, to go get on a computer, to go log into somebody else's computer, to sign off, and then go home for another half hour to an hour because you want to see my face, because you want me to be in a cubicle where people can interrupt me and talk about sports ball, or spend 30 minutes talking about lunch, and then go to lunch, and then take too long at lunch because the group is too big. I can have my lunch right here at my desk. So when they started talking that nonsense, what I did, I accepted another offer from someplace that said, "Hey, we just closed all our offices. We'll mail you a laptop. You can still remote into the customer's computers from your house." Why not? Uh, this particular customer requires that I be in the United States. That's fine. So I can do it from wherever, but I can't leave the country. I'm fine with that. That's a restriction I'm willing to settle. But I didn't need a union to represent me. I didn't need a lawyer to represent me. Uh, Another place, they offered me significantly more than another place to do what they were doing, and I said, "Oh, I like money. You have better insurance." Our insurance in this country is a joke, but they have better insurance and better working hours. I was like, "All right, more time with my family. All right, let's do it." And I jumped, and then everything was fine until a certain worldwide virus happened, and then it exposed the absurdity of going a place to go remote when you could skip the commute and just go remote directly from your fiber connection. Didn't need any representation for that. Now, if they, yeah, Lee's got it right. So, I mean, if they were being weird about it and there was an available union that actually cared and the fees were reasonable and they would get me what I wanted, would I consider it? Yeah, I'd consider it. But so far, I've done a decent job on my own. I'm not saying that you can't join one. That's up to you. I'm not saying that if I picked a company and they just had one, that's also a thing. If the company might want one because they don't want to sit there and have these negotiations between me and my neighbor and the next person and my coworker, they might not have the resources for that. They might just say, "Hey, we've decided to work with staffing company number 12, and that's your union. And if you have a problem, go to them, and they will negotiate with you. And if you all want to raise, staffing company number 12 will tell us it's time to raise the rates. So this is not just about the employees. It's the company can want a union too, and if they feel it gives them a benefit, they are free to start one, or not really start one, but employ one, contract with one, sign the collective bargaining agreement. That's what IF Metal wants in the first place. Anyway, let's go back to this guy's comment. I looked at them, decided to work for them. Later, I went to work for went to another company to interview. When the wage package was below what I wanted, I took my resume and left. Yeah, that happens frequently for me. I'll get a call. They're like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah. You're perfect. We need this," and I'll tell them, "Hey, I need X," and they'll say, "Oh, we were thinking W," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of low." And then they'll come up with a number. How about Z? I'm like, no, Z is not X. And have a nice day. And if they seem okay, I'll say, hey, let me keep that description, and I'll email some people who might be looking later. And if I hear anybody looking, I'll email them. Later, a company called asked me to work for them. I threw out the ridiculous figure, and they accepted. Or I threw out a ridiculous figure, and they accepted. So I went to work for them. Oh, that's always fun. I've done that one once or twice as well. Like, hey, we need you now. How about some low figure? No. I was thinking like some much higher figure. Like just you'll see this with when you get quotes from contractors. Like they'll give out a price that basically says they don't want to do it, and it'll be worth their time if you do accept it. Otherwise, you'll just go away. And they accepted it. So that was always fun. And getting that accepted. All right, let's look at these next ones. Then we'll go on to more fun topics. They can thank the unions because the incentives other automotive employees received in the last. That would be true if they were just matching the union contracts, like we see what's going on with Toyota and the others here in the States after the Ford and GM and Stellantis strikes. Their packages were adjusted to match so that these people wouldn't jump from the non-union jobs to the union jobs. We're not talking about matching here. We're talking about just independently, just great. And yes, white collar is different than blue collar in that it's a little harder to swap us all out, but it's still available on both levels. And especially like with what I do, it's like find somebody else who does the same thing and replace me very easily if I were to become a nuisance. The flip side is those here that the union looks bad because with Tesla, employees receive better benefits than those working under union agreements. Yeah. I don't know how Tesla handles pay raises, but Eastman Kodak Research Labs, we got raised for performance, or rated for performance, and received raises based on those ratings. We were totally non-union. Yeah, I mean, it's all in whatever works for you, what works for the company. And if you like Starbucks, for instance, it's very low barrier to entry. They needed a union, and the company still doesn't like having one, so they're doing their best to kind of keep it out. But they're also skirting the law a little bit. There's certain laws you have to obey once you do have a union in your facility in the States. It goes both ways. I suggest Tesla pick up their license plates with a Cybertruck. That way they get some attention, not least in Swedish mainstream media. Former socialist PM can maybe get a Volvo Amazon next time he rides a taxi in Stockholm. Those was nice cars. I don't know that it's worth the hassle to drive a car that's not certified in the region, or this process. You can bring non-certified cars in for a brief time and bring them out, but there's no benefit to the expense of bringing a Cybertruck in and taking it out if you're not going to sell the Cybertruck in that area anytime soon. All right, so before we get on to Cybertruck, because we've got some people in the room now, Ford CEO Jim Farley gives the nod of respect to Musk and Tesla for the Cybertruck launch. This was coming from obviously Teslarati here, but Dan sent us either this article or a similar one. The automotive market is very competitive, and it's no stranger to criticism, clapbacks between rival automakers, and it is quite pleasant to see two rivals giving each other respect when one achieves something great. And we've seen Musk give respect to other automakers all the time. Ford, VW. I don't know if he's given any to GM other than when they joined NACS and the Supercharger Coalition. This was the case between Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Ford CEO Jim Farley. The Cybertruck's first delivery event was quite polarizing. On one hand, it proved that Tesla could ship a vehicle that critics considered impossible. Again, because if you guys remember Bill Gates and the semi truck, oh, it's not possible. Or Mercedes. Mercedes told him that it was against the laws of physics. All right then. On the other hand, it disappointed many in the electric vehicle community since we were not talking about Cybertruck just yet. Due to the polarizing nature of the Cybertruck delivery event, however, CEO Musk still proved optimistic in a post on X. He posted his congratulations to the Tesla team producing the Cybertruck. Massive congrats to the incredible Tesla team from design through manufacturing, making Cybertruck real. I love you, Musk wrote. Farley wrote, congrats to Tesla and Musk and the team. Yeah. So, it's always good to see rivals respecting each other. This one came up while I was on the wrong screen, as Lee pointed out, and I just wanted to look at it because I didn't see it before. Tesla pokes fun at the Ford F-150 Lightning in Cybertruck PowerShare video. We'll talk about PowerShare in a minute when we start talking about Cybertruck next. So, yeah, let's get on that. Let's just start the Cybertruck now. And let's see. Lightning PowerShare is promotional video. Highlights the new feature. Tesla depicted a Cybertruck owner helping out an F-150 Lightning that needed some extra range on the road. Now, these stories of people running out of juice are rare, and they get a lot of clicks. But when Ford said the Lightning could help out Model 3s that were stuck on the road, that wasn't a common occurrence. And now when Tesla's saying Lightning stuck on the road, that also is not a common occurrence. Although we saw that one news article, video, whatever, where people were freaking out about it as if this Canadian guy who just decided to hop in his truck and drive like he had a Tesla without any planning. They made it seem like this is the common occurrence with the F-150 Lightning. I need to turn off that coupon thing. There we go. What I really should do is block it from Teslarati, but I turned it off and it's still there. I don't want to remove it. I just want to turn it off. Sure, there's a way I can block certain sites, but I'm not ready for that yet because I can't see it. Oh, there, it's gone. So, yeah, as I was saying, so it's not a common occurrence. Interestingly enough, the Ford F-150 Lightning also has a similar feature called Pro Power on board, which could provide power for homes, houses, work sites. So basically what all this is the Cybertruck has a bidirectional inverter on board. So it doesn't just charge the battery when you plug it in. You can run power the other direction, and it can charge other things. And we'll talk about that when we get to talking about the full PowerShare. All right, let's play this. Let me mute this screen first. I can't mute the screen. All right, but let's watch on X, see if it's got music. Oh, it doesn't have music. Look at that. Oh, you know why? I bet you this is from the Cybertruck sales site. So we'll share this tab instead. So she plugs in the Lightning's mobile charger, plugs in their J1772, and then turns it on in her app. Let's rescue your Lightning. read an article on that. I think it's just because it's funny because they started it. Yeah, because that's what Ford was doing. All right, next up, let's talk about Cybertruck. Let's just go to cybertruck.com or not .com, sorry, tesla.com/Cybertruck. All right, so you guys throw out any questions or comments or concerns about Cybertruck. Um, we did do a stream of the video on the Tesla Live show, and we had technical difficulties, and it didn't actually go out. We had a nice 3-hour stream. All right, let's go. So this is the Cybertruck website. A couple things that came out with the Cybertruck. My friend Kyle Connor actually had a decent take on this compared to most of us that were kind of invested in it uh, from the launch in 2019. He did not actually purchase a reservation, so he was looking at it with fresh eyes, whereas a lot of us were holding them to a different standard. And there's nothing wrong with holding them to the standard when Musk's whole thing is the concept should be not as good as the production. And there were changes, significant changes. The only thing that really stayed the same was the overall shape of the truck. The event, for the folks who were live there, they got to speak with all the engineers and the workers, and that was cool. They actually had a worse presentation than we did at home because they were all on one level, and so most people were looking at the back of somebody's head or having to watch it through somebody else's cell phone in front of them. The one part that I've seen that seems universally agreed that was super lame was they tried to recreate the Franz steel ball incident, and they had an opportunity to do it the way they did it and actually like either get a laugh out of it or something. But what they did was they pulled a baseball out and had Franz throw a baseball at the truck's window. Oh wait, we just saw the Easter egg right there where the hedgehog shows up if you stay on the page too long. But anyway, so Franz threw a baseball instead of a steel ball bearing at the window, and it bounced off because it's a baseball, and the windows are a little stronger and more shatter resistant than the typical auto glass. They're made of borosilicate, which is the good Pyrex, the one you want, not the soda lime Pyrex that breaks easily. Um, and it bounced right off. And then what they could have done to make it funny was when Franz went down to pick up the ball, he could have picked up the ball bearing and made it look like he threw that. That would have been funny. Or he could have thrown the ball bearing, or they could have just not done it at all. That would have been fine. They do offer an accessory where you can put a decal on your rear window on the driver's side that has the spider web from kind of a callback to the event. I might do that with mine. So let's go through and look at these real quick. All right, so you got 11,000 pound towing capacity, a 340 mile range, up to. All these are up to 11,000 pound towing capacity, up to 340 miles range, and up to or down to 2.6 seconds acceleration with rollout. So this is going to be the dual motor and the tri motor called Beast mode, and this is going to be the dual motor, and this is going to be the tri motor Beast mode. And it's not the same 3 motors on the Plaid. The rear motors are induction motors. So like on my P100D, both of my motors are induction motors. And the front motor is a permanent magnet. You'll notice that this is not up to 500 plus miles as we anticipated. And one thing that somebody else pointed out this morning that makes sense. This is more miles than you get on any Model 3 or Model Y. It's not more than the Model X or Model S, but they're more aerodynamic and they're lighter, and they ride lower. This one is less aerodynamic. It's not aerodynamic. It's more aerodynamic than any other truck, but it's got a 123 kilowatt hour battery, which I thought was I didn't even report on it because I thought it was a joke, but it was real. And you'll notice that that is a lower capacity than any other EV truck out there, except the Ram Charger, because the Ram Charger extended. It has like a 98 kilowatt hour battery and then a V6 on board. And so on this site, they say that the truck can charge at 250 kilowatts, which is true. But the way they made it look was like it could only charge at 250 kilowatts. But there was an interview with Top Gear where they pointed out that the vehicle can charge at, or will be able to charge at 350 in the coming Elon time, but the existing ones. So Lee's asking, when are they releasing? So they released on Thursday, and about 12 people got theirs. And then we've seen about 5 or 10 of them get on trucks in photos. So they're on sale now, is basically the way to put that. But Sandy Monroe said that on an interview with one of the major news places, he said that they were doing a 60-second cycle, whereas the rest of the Tesla lines, except for S and X, are doing more like a 40-second cycle. So it's not going to be as quick to sell as the 3 and the Y just yet. But once everybody's comfortable with this, we will see them probably push it up to that 40-second cycle or even more, to the point where the Cybertruck is just cranking out like a Model 3, Model Y. All right, let's continue through the site here. Got a little video of it crossing rivers, the tundra, rock climbing. If you're not aware, all the Cybertrucks have rear wheel steering, and they did bring back a rear wheel drive Cybertruck as well. That was something that they had led us to believe had been canceled, but what it looks like happened is that because the prices had changed so significantly from what they first showed us, they had to bring it back so that some people could still afford the truck. Built for any planet. Durable and rugged enough to go anywhere, tackle anything with electronically adaptive air suspension that offers 12 inches of travel and 17 inches of clearance. So this actually is pretty nice. It's a lot faster than any other Tesla air suspension we've seen before. It's phenomenal. It's seconds. And it's not like my Model X where it kind of does the wiggle butt thing where it like front back, front back, front back until it gets to the height, and then same one coming down front back, front back. It's just the whole truck. No paint, no chips. An ultra-hard stainless steel exoskeleton helps reduce dents, damage, and long-term corrosion. Repairs are simple and quick. They didn't mention anywhere anything about a special coating or whatever that Franz was talking about. And one of the guys talked about buffing it out with a scuff pad. So I guess that went away too. The windows are now listed as shatter resistant instead of armor glass, but they still right here call it armor glass. So basically what they're trying to do is they never said the glass is bulletproof. And there's the baseball demo. They never said the glass is bulletproof. And I guess they're trying to distance themselves from people shooting at the windows of their truck or whatever. Now, you can get it up armored and they can put bulletproof glass in it, but bulletproof glass is typically fixed glass. It can't raise and lower, except for the driver's window. It can kind of come down like this much, so that you can pass stuff at checkpoints and toll booths. It's not meant for you to be able to go through the drive-thru and get your lunch. And if you went through the drive-thru to get your lunch, you'd have to open the door, which is the perfect opportunity for somebody to jack you. So you might want to have your chefs cook your food in-house or order out from a trusted place rather than go through a drive-thru with a up-armored vehicle. Armor glass can resist the impact of a baseball at 70 miles per hour or class 4 hail. Acoustic glass helps make the cabin quiet as outer space. That is marketing right there. The quiet is outer space. I've seen a few of the reviews, and they're not silent. They are quieter than my Model X. The Class 4 hail is important because hail damage is expensive and can total the vehicle if not done well. The baseball is not really that important, but the other benefit you get out of it is that the vehicle is now rock resistant. So you may have been driving along, and all of a sudden you find a little spider web on your front windshield, and now you're like, I gotta spend $1,000 or insurance deductible, or find some gel and put it in there. Be careful with the gel, or it's not really gel, it's an epoxy. Be careful with the self repairs if you plan to also get it done professionally. It can contaminate the site where a professional can't do their job anymore. So if it's not just ultimately tiny and you've done it before on these modern windshields, the self repair might not do what you expect. And if it fails and you take it back to a pro, they might say, our stuff's not going to stick to that because there's still going to be some of the self repair in there. But yeah, so you're gonna have less little chips and nicks and spider webs and full busts from rocks out and about, which is nice. And then the quietest outer space part, they've done the same as they did to the new Model 3, and they've done the laminated glass on the all the side windows as well. So it should be a lot quieter than what we're used to. So then they show it towing the Raptor vacuum engine over at SpaceX, uh, driving through the dirt. Here they've got it moving full 4x8 sheets of material, but you notice it wasn't secured. You'll have to secure it because the tailgate has to be down to reach that. They show you using the truck with loads of dirt, and how the tonneau cover still works when it's dirty. I think that might have been a shot at Rivian because their tonneau cover stopped working with the slightest little bit of grit. It's been changed since then, but they do like to take shots at each other. We'll talk about the rest of the vault in a minute. Beyond prepared. Haul everything you need with 2,500 pounds of payload, 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, the equivalent of an average African elephant. The super tough composite bed doesn't need a liner and is big enough for 4x8 construction materials. So if you fold the tailgate down, you can fit 4x8 construction materials. If you don't have the range extender installed, we'll talk about the range extender in a minute. And yeah, so the 2,500 pounds is more than comparable trucks, and the 11,000 pounds is also more than comparable trucks, although it does match the Rivian R1T. Pack it up. So this one, we joked that it looked like a mess on the stream because it looked like somebody littering Everest, basically, just all their gear just out there. But then when you scroll down, access a 6 foot by 4 foot bed, plus even more room in the front trunk, on the roof, and in a hidden gear locker. And in addition to the hidden gear locker, they've also got if there's nobody in the rear seats, you can fold the rear seats up and have a nice vertical storage inside the cab. Load it up. So they've cleaned up their mess. Loaded up the full truck. With a maximum payload of 2,500 pounds and 67 cubic feet of lockable storage, Cybertruck has all the capacity you need. Lock it up. After you load it up, lock it up for peace of mind under the vault bed cover. Folded the seats in the second row for an extra 53 cubic feet of storage. So what's kind of cool about the vault is, in addition to being a power tonneau cover, it can support 300 pounds and is resistant to folks jumping on it. Now, if their jumping force is less than 300 pounds, it's fine. But if it's more than 300 pounds, it will resist it. And that's really cool because now you have a lockable out of sight storage to put stuff in. Same with the frunk. The frunk is like on the Model 3 and Model Y, where if the battery is not dead, you can't open the frunk if you don't have access, if you don't have the key, or if you don't work for Tesla with the remote access turned on, that sort of thing. Some random thief isn't going to come in and just like be able to pull some strings and open your frunk like they can on our older cars. And unlike the Model 3 in San Francisco, it's not one, the window is harder to break, and two, um, if they can't see it, then they're gonna be less tempted to break your window and check. Hopefully. All right. There it is, fording another stream into the wild. Travel up to 340 miles on a single charge, enough to get you into the backcountry and beyond. Recover up to 136 miles of range in just 15 minutes of supercharging. So here we see power share, and at that point we might go off to another page. No, what we'll do is we'll open another tab. So with power share, you've got two 120-volt outlets in the bed and more in the cab. And then you've got one 240-volt outlet at up to 40 amps in the bed as well. And then you've also got accessory power ports throughout the truck. Those are for the Tesla accessories, though. They're not standard outlets that you can just use. Power your site, operate your tools, or charge any EV with integrated 120-volt and 240-volt bed and cabin outlets. During a grid outage, provide up to 11.5 kilowatts of power directly to your home to help keep the lights on. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I've opened it up in a new tab. It's going to take us to the power share site. So then they show it more glamorous driving shots, carving up the country roads, driving through the woods, showing off that rear wheel steering makes it more nimble. Drag racing another Cybertruck for some reason, so I'm guessing that's probably the rear wheel drive versus the beast mode. Dopamine on tap, 0 to 60 in just 2.6 seconds. Asterisk in beast mode, while maintaining high speed stability with steer-by-wire and rear steering. You get the handling of a sports car and better turning radius than most sedans. So what's cool about this is the steering is by wire, which means that there is no connection between the steering wheel and the wheels, just like on jet aircraft have been doing since the 80s. Well, not just jet, most aircraft have been doing since the 80s. And so you've got redundant sensors and redundant motors ready to do their thing. You've got two on the front rack, one on the rear rack, and then you've got force feedback to the wheel, so you can feel what the car is sensing. And then that allows them more flexibility, like we saw where the S and the X refresh. They didn't get a right-hand drive model for the places that need a right-hand drive. They got left-hand drive with a stick so that people could reach and pay their tolls or grab their their drive-through. That was one solution, but it would be more of a solution is be able to just slide the wheel over and not have to deal with that, which is cool. Part of that is that they now have a 48-volt low voltage architecture instead of 12 volts. This is the first time in 70 years that we've seen an increase in the low voltage um, voltage by a significant amount on passenger cars. Semi trucks have been 24 volts for a while, but 24 is easy enough to change between 12. It's just two 12 volts in series. And then the newer 3 and Y, well, actually all the newer Teslas except for the Cybertruck, are 16 volts when they go lithium. And, 16 isn't that far from the 13 to 14 that the 12 volt runs at. 48 volts allows them to save money on copper for wiring because there's less amps going through each wire, which means the wire can be thinner without heating up too much. And so that saves a lot of money and weight. And the reason I bring it up here with the by-wire steering is if they had done the steering on a 12-volt system, they would have needed over 150 amps for all those motors to steer responsively and safely. And so going to 48 volts meant that they could keep that number down to something reasonable. All right, so here we see a shot of the interior. The screen is 18.5 inches, up from the 17 inches on the S and the X, and the 15 inches on all of the other vehicles. Or what is it, 3 inches on the Roadster, the original Roadster? They have a little screen tucked away on the driver's left on the Roadster. So it's kind of like the yacht floor I had on my Model S, except actually useful this time. You've got this nice open area you can put stuff or pass stuff through. You got your wireless phone chargers. You got your NFC for the key sensor right here. You got 2 cup holders, and then an armrest that's actually useful. I mean, it can be an armrest, but it's also a console. Whereas on the old vehicles with the yacht floor, it was not a console. It was just an armrest, which made it much less functional. The glove box is a tray that slides out, power in. I think it's power out. I think it's power in as well. Rugged outside, comfortable inside. Immerse yourself in a spacious modern cabin packed with advanced technology features and entertainment. Theater on wheels. So you've got a massive 18.5-inch Infinity touchscreen in the front and a 9.4-inch touchscreen in the back with an all-new user interface. So I think it's a little bit bigger in the back than the other cars. They were 9 inches or 8 inches, and now it's 9.4. And then it's much bigger in the front at 18.5. So let's go on to the next bullet. Sublime Audio. Recording studio sound dynamics with 15 speakers, including 2 dedicated subwoofers and distributed amplifiers. So it has less speakers than the new Model X, but it still has a lot of speakers. And since this is Elon's driver, it probably sounds good too. Charge everything. Fast charge your phone or laptop with tools from the front seat, back seat, or bed. With wireless charging, 65-watt USB-C, and 120 240-volt outlets. And so you've got 120-volt outlets in the cabin as well. Bioweapon defense mode. So this one comes with it by default. Built-in hospital-grade HEPA filter helps provide protection from 99.97% of airborne particles. And this is really nice when you end up in an area with, say, wildfires or pollen or an airborne virus. It works. Expand your horizon. Plenty of room for 5 adults with expansive cabin views through an all-glass roof. And then on a bigger screen, that expands nicely. On a smaller screen like this, it doesn't. All right, so we see a dog, some off-road going, some accessories. They got the tent. That tent is rated for 2 adults. It rides on the L track right there, so it doesn't actually touch the bottom of the bed. Adventure going. Explore Tesla designed upgrades for every scenario. Accessories sold separately, of course. Batteries not included. Batteries are included. Light up your world. The light bar illuminates your path up to 525 yards. That's more than 5 football fields. Installation required because it's an accessory. It attaches right to the peak of the roof there. Bring your instant tent. Base camp fits 2 adults comfortably and pumps up in minutes. So it doesn't use the air compressor that Elon said we would have because that never made it in. The air compressor is now an accessory. It uses a hand pump to go to 8 psi. And you're thinking, oh, what are you inflating here? The struts are inflated to 8 psi to give it structure. And then it kind of clips into various parts of the vehicle to stay on. There's no way to get the HVAC from the inside of the cabin to the tent, so you'll need to bring a portable heat pump to get heat or air conditioning in your tent while you sleep. Hopefully you're camping someplace temperate where you can just open the flaps. Exotic Geek says that top roof light is such a truck accessory. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that for when I go. I don't really go off road, but I do go off pavement in places where it's really dark. So that will be fun. But you can't use it on the road because it's illegal. What I'm hoping is that it's very similar to the logic for Smart Summon, where it just determines where you're on a road where you can't use Smart Summon, and they happen to match. You can't use Smart Summon in the same places you can't use the light. So We can hope. Or maybe like a little reminder, hey, you left the light on and it seems you're going faster than like 12 miles an hour. What do you want to do, boss? Just in case, all-terrain tires have you covered in any environment. Bring a spare tire for when you go where roadside assistance can't. So it's another copy of the exact same wheel and tire assembly that come on your car, truck, and you strap it to D-rings here in the back of the bed, assuming you don't have the range extender. The and it's rather pricey, but it's not just a matching alloy wheel painted and tire. It's also the proper breaker bar and a bottle jack. We'll see it when we get to the accessory site, what all is included with that. And then the accessory that got the most discussion. Extend your adventure. Go even further with a range extender installed in Cybertruck's bed, offering up to 470 miles estimated of total range installed separately. So, Elon described this as something that you only need on towing the heaviest of loads for the longest of distances up mountains. So with the dual motor, you can get up to 470 plus miles, and with the tri-motor beast mode, you can get up to 450 miles. 400, I think it's 450 miles of total range installed separately. So that the way they described it before they had a picture on the site was they said, "Oh, it's like a toolbox right behind the window. No big deal." Yeah, it's like a toolbox, like 3 toolboxes behind the window. You'll notice that it comes up just underneath the L track and the bed lighting. So you'll still have a 4-foot bed available to you ish. 4-foot bed, 3 or 4 foot bed available to you with the vault still available as well at that lower height. So the tent rides at this height. So the tent would sit right on top of this, and then you'd have a cavity to put your stuff underneath it and the trunk. This is not something Tesla wants or expects you to buy, but if you're buying it to tow stuff, you're going to possibly want that. We don't know how much it costs, but the people who were breaking the code on the website found a placeholder of $16,000. This is probably a 50-ish kilowatt hour battery pack, and we don't know how it connects to the truck. And there's 2 ways. The penthouse, which is where all the electronics for the battery and the of the truck, they're underneath here, underneath the bed. Whereas on the Model 3 and Model S and Model X, all the new cars, it's underneath the back seat. And I'm going to go to Drive Tesla's Twitter, and we'll show you some of the factory tours, so that makes more sense what I'm saying there. So we'll see how this goes. It's something I'm interested in. Cybertruck specs. Cyber Beast. Let's start with the rear-wheel drive. Performance is range of around 250 miles, so matching what I have today with my battery degradation. Uh, Acceleration of 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, which is significantly slower than what I'm used to. It's rear-wheel drive with a top speed of 112 miles an hour and a towing capacity of just 7,500 pounds. So still more than the Model X, but actually I think this might be one of the ones that actually meets the spec of what they promised us in 2019. The all-wheel drive, it beat what they said. It's got 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, top speed 112 miles an hour. That's the same, isn't it? It is the same. All-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, with a range of 340 miles and an extended range of 470 miles with that range extender we saw. So the Cyber Beast has a range of 320 miles or 440 miles with the range extender, acceleration of 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds with a foot of rolled out subtracted. All-wheel drive with 2 motors on the rear, so each rear wheel has its own motor, and then the front motor has an electronic locking differential on both this and the dual motors. And top speed 130 with a towing capacity of 11,000 pounds. So here I'm thinking that the towing capacity is limited by the body, by the frame. And Elon didn't seem to be phased by that's what it's rated for. He doesn't seem to be phased by people going somewhat over that. All right, so these specs adjust based on the vehicle we picked. So this is the Beast mode, Cyber Beast, 6843 pounds without the range extender. 6603 pounds for the dual motor, and then unknown for the rear wheel drive. Available in 2025. So over a year before you can get the base model. And if you do want the base model, get your either your cash payment or your down payment ready, and just have them sitting in the bank ready to go. Because what's going to happen is they're going to put it on sale, they're going to sell out, and then they'll probably never offer it again, except every now and then as a special. Based on what we saw with the base Model Y and the base Model 3, they were rare. Just a matter of fact. Let's see. Folded mirrors is 86.6 inches. Extended mirrors is 95 inches. You can remove the mirrors yourself if it's legal in your jurisdiction. Overall height of 70. Overall length of 223.7. So right here, they say the max pay per use supercharging is 250 kilowatts, but the engineers were quoted saying 350 in Top Gear's video. You can get up to 136 miles in 15 minutes. Not bad. You get a basic vehicle warranty of 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first, or 8 years and 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. On which one are we looking at? All-wheel drive. Cyber Beast adds up to 128 miles in 15 minutes. That lower or higher? One 136 miles. So yeah, it's lower. I was wondering if they had a different cell chemistry, and they don't. They have the same battery. 128 miles, and then the warranty is 8 years, 150, whichever comes first, or 4 years or 50. So that's the same. 150. 150. They don't even talk about the warranty in that car. Cybertruck, all-wheel drive. All right, so we will go to Tesla store. Cybertruck. So you can see the base camp. You can get a black or white satin wrap, or you can do it yourself. You can get the tailgate ramp. These are folding tailgate ramps, one each, because there's not one in the tailgate. If you're just doing like a wheelbarrow or a motorcycle, you might only want one at $400. Or if you're doing a quad, you'll need two. You can get floor mats. This is it goes underneath the rear seat when it's folded up, so you can have an organized cargo back there. You get a glass roof sunshade, something they offer on all the vehicles so far. Center console tray. I'm not sure if that's an accessory or not, because every video I've seen of it, it was already in there. I mean, clearly they sell another one, but I don't know if that's just an open hole. Base camp, colored paint, satin. Oh yeah, you can also get a satin clear wrap, so that way you don't have to worry about fingerprints on the stainless steel. Not that you're really trying to keep it from getting scratched; you're just trying to keep the fingerprints off. You can get crossbars. They mount on the roof or on top of the vault. There's two positions on top of the vault. Ramp. You can get a bumper protector. You can get the OMFG decal. These are pretty cool. The cargo dividers and the mole panels. These mount inside the truck, so you can hang stuff on the sail inside of the sails. And then you've got cyber cargo bins. So this, I think, actually would be kind of cool. If you got the extender, you can then organize what's left of your deeper cargo, and then you still have a nice flat area on top to put stuff. I think you can get So there's the L track I was talking about, all along both sides and back of the bed. So you can get hooks for it, or you can, if you already have L track accessories, you can use those. The Cybertruck L track cleat and an L track bottle opener. You can get more D rings. Looks like these mount more permanently, in addition to the D rings it comes with. And then the gear locker dividers right here, they go into the bed box. You get your spare tire toolkit. This is $12.50. Let's see what's in that thing. One 20-inch Goodyear rim and tire, or sorry, Goodyear tire and cyber wheel. One tire pressure monitoring system. Two D rings. One vinyl tire cover and strap, complete with a fitted strap and secure pocket containing a telescoping lug wrench. One tool case with a 4-ton hydraulic bottle jack, hex tool, and wheel cover removal tool, and a pair of gloves. Yeah, everybody I saw touch the wheel cover this weekend, they got their hands really dirty. So yeah, the gloves might be nice. Cybertruck snow chains, and then the Cybertruck air compressor and tire repair kit, $550. If you're in a state that requires a spare tire or kit, this will be included with your truck, unless they use the standard one from the Model 3, because it's significantly cheaper. But you have to, by law in Maryland, a couple other places, you have to give them provision. So they'll either give you a tire, like I don't know. In this case, I bet you they'd still go with this because the tire and wheel is $12.50, and this is only $5.50. You can change your wheel cover or replace it, depending on which ones you got. All right, so let's look at the power share that I was talking about. And then we'll go over to Drive Tesla Canada's Twitter and look at the factory. All right, so power share your life. So there we saw that same little clip about sharing power with Ford Lightning, powering your job site, have a rave, or powering your home during an outage. So this will require the not the Gen 3 wall connector, but the universal wall connector, the one with the magic dock. I call it the mini magic dock. They called it the universal connector, the J1772 adapter, the one that they keep showing the video with the Model Y and the Volkswagen ID4. It has bidirectional power in it, so you'll notice that one's a little thicker than a regular Gen 3 wall connector with the glass front. Whenever they get back to her dystopian house, coming up in a moment. There, so you know it's a little thicker because it's got whatever's in there plus the 1772 adapter. So power on the go, home outage protection, and charge other EVs. Get more power from your vehicle. Tesla vehicles equipped with the power share technology have onboard electronics that unlock your battery's ability to provide power whenever you need it, wherever you are. Whether you need to power a construction site, pre-game tailgate, or another electric vehicle, or even your home during an outage, the Tesla vehicle with power share has you covered. So this is now on the front of the universal wall connector. At the very bottom by the cable, you'll see this symbol now, which is the power share logo. All right, so at home, here we can see her universal connector, her little dystopian hut in the middle of a construction jungle. Stop moving. Power your home during an outage for over 3 days with zero noise and emissions, and 11.5 kilowatts of continuous capability. So that's the full 60 amp connection going in the other direction. Work. Run your power tools, charge your devices at the same time with 5 built-in outlets. So there's 2 in the bed and 3 in the car cab. Play. Enjoy built-in power for camping, tailgating, parties, and more. And share. Charge other electric vehicles when your friends or family need it. So here's a view in the app. So on the Cyber Home, That's what they've named their house. You'll have we have a new color. Purple is for power share, and yellow is for solar. Green is for charging the car. At least with the car. Green is also on the power walls. It's for self-powered. And then anyway, red for charging error, blue for scheduled charging. And he's going to wait till cheaper times. So over 2 days of energy remaining. Power share, your home. It's using 3.4 kilowatts currently for the Cyber Hobble. That's pretty cool. Remote access. Monitor and control the power share from anywhere. Set it and forget it. Adjust your power share preferences and let your vehicle do the rest. So you can set it from in the car. View your energy stats, review your home energy history and usage in real time. And Patrick says that this is very much like what you see with the power walls. So to make this work, in addition to the universal charging, the universal wall connector, you're going to need a backup switch or Tesla Energy Gateway. So if you already have a power wall on your home, at least one, you're good to go. If you already have enough power walls for the whole home backup, then you're perfectly set for this. Otherwise, you'll need to install an Energy Gateway or the backup switch. So power share specs. Home backup. Max continuous real power is 11.5 with a locked rotor amps of starting of 110 amps and a nominal voltage of 240 volts AC. It meets US and EMI standards. Installation is going to require a universal wall connector and a Tesla gateway or a backup switch, both of which are the backup switch is optional. The equipment sold separately is the universal wall connector. No additional equipment required when homes are connected with Powerwall and wall connector. Faster, more affordable installations when approved by utilities and jurisdiction. So in the outlets, you've got one in the front, or one or two in the front, one or two in the back. I'm not sure which one has the two, which one has the one. Then you've got two 120s in the back and the 240. So my understanding is you can use the 9.6 kilowatts of onboard outlets in addition to the 11.5 kilowatts of power share. Bring the power, and then it takes you back to buy a Cybertruck. Tesla Power Share is currently only available with the Cybertruck. Estimates are based on 30 kilowatt hours of energy use per day and may vary based on your actual energy use. And that is not Tesla doing the stupid power shavings thing, because the 30 kilowatt hours, that seems quite reasonable. When I look at what this house uses when we're on backup, I've got 27 kilowatt hours, and it doesn't last the whole day if we don't change our usage. But if we do change our usage, we can stretch it. We air conditioner and everything, we use probably about 40 kilowatt hours per day if we're not being careful. And so that's reasonable right there. Because if the power's out, you're probably going to conserve. And of course, if you have a power wall and solar, then when your power walls are full, then the car will stop stepping in. And then when the power walls are full and the sun is still out, then it'll start charging the truck as well. But currently, only the Cybertruck has a bidirectional inverter. And there was the oldest of the original Roadsters, but they don't have a NACS port. So eventually, I expect to see this show up on the Model S and Model X, and then the Model 3 and Model Y at some point. Since the 3 and Y haven't been re-released for the US yet, there's a possibility that the new Model 3 will offer it in the States. Don't hold me to that at all. They didn't change much mechanically about the car. They changed the exterior and they cosmetically changed the rest. So they might not do that for us. But it could be part of why they're waiting so long to do the American one. Project Juniper hasn't shown up anywhere. We got a kind of a halfway version in China, and that one doesn't have this either. So it's possible that Project Juniper will have PowerShare as well. And again, that's pure speculation on my part. Don't hold anybody to it. But the way that Tesla likes to share parts around, there's no reason to expect they won't put the bidirectional inverter in other vehicles. They might not put it in the base battery of these cars, but they probably will put it in the base Cybertruck. Probably. Because it just says Cybertruck. All right, so we looked at PowerShare. Now let's go to Drive Tesla Canada's. And look at their factory tour. We're going to do it in reverse order just because it's easier. 50,000 followers on X. Congrats. They're giving away a Roadster. Roadster toy. Anyone else get it? No, I didn't get it. That was a new software update for beta. Tesla tweeted, posted, "Happy holidays. This is not the best for Christmas cookies, but perfect for melting aluminum for the world's largest die-cast at Giga Berlin. Happy first Advent." And so this opens and closes. Coral Gables Police Department shows off a new Tesla Model Y patrol car. This one was interesting to me. I do have it for later in the show. Amazon picks SpaceX to launch some Project Kuiper satellites. Because it's not like Jeff Bezos has his own rocket company, right? And on top of that, we did discuss this previously. We talked about how this was a bad deal for Amazon shareholders, not the doing it with SpaceX, but doing it on Amazon's own rockets, or sorry, on Blue Origin's rockets, because the price was so much higher than if they chose SpaceX. So it looks like somebody did their fiduciary due diligence. Fisker slashes production guidance again. Begin Canadian deliveries in December. That's unfortunate. The Boring Company on the cradle. Proofrock 1 has officially completed the Westgate 2 tunnel. So now the Westgate tunnel is bidirectional, one going each way instead of like a construction site where it goes one way and then it reverses and goes the other way. This is the fourth tunnel Proofrock 1 is constructed in Vegas and the seventh overall Vegas Loop tunnel. Other three tunnels completed were using Godot and Proofrock 2. Open to the general public in Q1 2024. Good. Tesla AI is building the next generation autonomy on a single foundation video network that directly drives the car. Join the team and build state-of-the-art end-to-end models using massive fleet data on one of the world's largest training clusters. Tesla employees in Sweden are disappointed by the IF Metal Union. It's another version of the article we talked about. Austin. While Tesla events are always amazing, what makes them even better are the awesome people you get to meet and reconnect with. Roadster event next. So Darren's coming back. Talked about Fisker. SpaceX seeks FCC approval to begin mobile connectivity and tests. So that's what we were talking about previously in the year, where SpaceX and T-Mobile had partnered together. Lee, sorry to not answer your question there. How long will it actually hold a charge for other items? That's where I was talking about the 30 kilowatt hours that they were talking about. So they're saying 3 days on the battery they're selling today, and then I imagine that it'll be even longer on the extended battery because that's another 50 kilowatt hours. So at 30 a day, that's another day and 2/3. So a whole week if you don't turn anything off. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't mean not turn anything off at all, like leave everything running all the time, but like without adjusting your patterns. You leave the AC and the heat on, whatever they were already on. You keep opening and closing the fridge, running the cooking appliances, washer, dryer, so on and so forth. If you get the extra battery, I'd say a week. If you don't, at least 3 days. Obviously, also if you have like a McMansion, that might change it. But if you do have a McMansion, then you might have two of these ugly trucks, and and then you could go still for up to a week, depending on if you get the extended battery or not in one of them. Tesla is offering discounts to Cybertruck reservation holders, but not for the Cybertruck. Yeah. So a lot of us received an email from Tesla that said, "Hey, great, you've got your place in line." And like some of us thought, based on the title, that it may be, "Hey, we're going to invite you soon to come configure your truck." I'd already seen other people's emails by the time mine came through, so I knew it was not really a scam or a hoax, but like a head fake. Let's call it that. The It's the month end, right? It's the quarter end, the year end. They want to get as many Teslas out as they can, so they're giving $1,000 off if you have a Cybertruck reservation already to get a sexy car. I looked into Model X with the supercharging transfer, but I just can't. I don't have any need for 3 Teslas because that's what we would end up with if we did this. We'd get the X and then the Cybertruck, and then what they were offering for this X was stupid low, so we'd probably keep that too. There's one driver in the house. We don't need 3 cars for one driver. And I'm not going to pay cash for it. So making 2 large Tesla payments would be irresponsible. With the growing baby, I don't want her to only eat ramen. So we held off on that, even with the $1,000 off, and we're just gonna wait for the Cybertruck, and then hopefully they'll have some incentives and have lowered the price by the time that happens. Oh, we didn't talk about the price on Cybertruck. We'll go back to that in a minute. The price is much higher than what they said in 2019. Electric vehicles are less reliable than ICE and hybrids, says Consumer Reports. But as we know, Consumer Reports is not what they used to be. And their methodology here is about complaints. So if somebody says that the motor made a weird sound, that will count as a failure. If somebody had to go in to the shop to get told that, oh yeah, that's normal, that counts as a failure. If somebody had to refill their washer fluid early and didn't know it, that's a failure. And it's very, like, the whole thing is very opaque. So I'm going to skip right on by that because it's bull crap. Cybertruck Beast Mode versus Rivian R1T quad motor and GMC Hummer EV quarter mile. This is this from Haggerty's. I think it's from Haggerty's. Yes, it is. That was a good video. If you got 30 minutes to watch that later. Haggerty's, MKBHD, and Top Gear. CarWow is doing theirs in sections. And it goes exactly like you'd expect. Even though the Hummer has got more power, horsepower, and battery, and everything, and it's quad motor. So no, it's tri-motor. The Cybertruck is just lighter, so it's able to just walk away. It also has a higher top speed than the Hummer's got a top speed of 106. Alexis says details matter. So this is laser etched into the tailgate of the Cyber Beast. And on this side, it should say Founders. Yeah, it does sound Foundation, like a Foundation series from Isaac Asimov. Gregor Truck did a 360 video of the production line. I will recommend you go check that out. I'd give you a link, but from Twitter, they make it hard to do. Exotic Geek says, I wonder what the secondary market will look like in a few years for the Cybertruck, especially with the used EV credit come 2024. I think that would be fun. At first, it's probably going to be more expensive than just buying it from Tesla. But after that, it's going to be fun to watch, especially as Tesla starts to do what they do and drop the price to whatever the market will bear. Cybertruck accessories rundown. We did that ourselves. The range extender, Cybertruck bed-mounted battery add-on. We'll see what they have to say about the extender. So there we go. That's what was on the side of the truck on that other photo. It's also on the tailgate as well. Cybertruck Foundation Series. Oh, that's the interior. That's on the passenger side. Just trying to figure out if when I shake it, if it gets big on your guys' screen. When I do on mine, it gets a larger cursor. Tesla PowerShare, bidirectional charging on the Cybertruck. I don't know if they say anything different than we did. We'll take a look. Video from the co-founder of Reddit, who took delivery of the Cybertruck number 3 today. First drive of Tesla Cybertruck number 3. And what was funny was in some circles, they said the spouse of whatever sports star he's married to, because she's more famous than he is. And I would remember if I was into sports, but I'm not. All right, so you can now get yourself a 1/18th scale Cybertruck at the Tesla store. Last I checked, it was sold out. $315 Canadian dollars, so $310 Canadian or $250 US. And the links are there, and it opens up, and it's pretty, and it looks like it's actually the one with the busted window rather than the one that's on sale today. Oh, it even has something on the screen. Look at that. A closer look at price range and features. Yeah, we'll do that. But what I'm looking for is their tour. Clear paint only costs $5,000 versus the 65 whatever we saw on the 6,500 we saw on the white or black. If I were to do it, I would go with black, and I'd probably try and do it myself. The white's not bad. Let's see. Cybertruck merch accessories are online. The J1772 adapter holder is in the driver's door pocket, so you don't have to find some weird place to stash it. That was always kind of cool to me. Here we see the UI. It's very responsive, very like 3D and all that. Here we see the light show. So we're about to get into the factory tour now. And so it uses the light bar and the lights, and can probably open and close the frunk and the tonneau cover, just like the X can open the hatch and the doors. Tommy gun Cybertruck. Zero cabin penetration. The strength of the truck body was tested with a handgun, Tommy gun, and I'm not sure what character that is. Sorry, it's an eye test for me. And a shotgun. Wow. Standing impact from 9mm, 45 caliber, and 6 12 gauge rounds. Okay. More photos. This is going to be what the light bar accessory looks like if you get it installed. This is on the Baja Cybertruck that they had at the event. See, it comes right at the edge of that mega wiper. The wiper is about 4 feet long, and they said it was going to be 2 blades, but it looked like one to me. And then the headlights look similar to this, but they are matrix headlights. And I don't know if the light bar will be a matrix or not. Probably not, because you're not supposed to use it on road anyway. Then we got the Baja Cybertruck that light bar was attached to. This one I pointed out that nobody heard me because we were offline at the time. The seat has got the 5-point harness in it. You got the thank you. What's this? Sparking light green. Oh, okay. Thank you. You've got the 5-point harness. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then here, when you zoom in on the larger picture, it's got a Cybertruck shape icon. I think this is the same they're offering or will be offering soon on the Plaid, because when we looked in the service manual, they were telling you to insert the Plaid decal in there. So that will be cool when it becomes available. And then we see the Cyber Baja 2023 badge. A close look at the light bar accessory. We just did that. This is one of the crash tested vehicles. So for all the people saying, oh, it can't crash test, it's not safe, it's going to destroy everything. No, it doesn't. However, it probably still doesn't meet European pedestrian compatibility standards. So we might see further modification before it goes on sale in Europe. But neither do any of its competitors. So what we at the Tesla Life think may happen is we'll see it show up in places that the F-150 Lightning has showed up. So you'll have Norway and Norway and Switzerland. And from there, I guess it might be up to you to import it from one of those places rather than try and get it sold directly where you live. And so this is the head-on collision, not the offset, because if it was the offset, then this half of the car would be missing, or that half. Here we see the side impact crash test. Mostly hit the passenger door. Tesla pointed out that you don't need cross beams on this car because the door skins are so strong. So we're doing backwards through his factory tour. This is the Cyber Sledgehammer, which is Cyber because of the shape and the Cybertruck icon. There it says, take my money. So this is the Cybertruck for kids toy. It's like Power Wheels, basically. Radio Flyer probably makes it, like all the other ride-on, ride-in Teslas for kids. The price is $1,500, and last I checked, it was sold out. So one of the YouTubers I saw that was there, they have a little more disposable income. They said, yeah, for the kids to get this, they'd better be good all year. So Cybertruck door is the heaviest door I've ever tried closing. So yeah, the way you open the doors, you push those buttons and then just pull on the door sill there. It's a good solid sound with the window up. First look at the Basecamp Cybertruck accessory. I mean, it's not bad. Look, the look on the site is comparable to this, so you know they weren't false advertising. The paint films, self-healing, full coverage, urethane-based film designed for Tesla by Tesla for Cybertruck, and they're saying that somehow this is better than the vinyl for the environment because of the price. Shout out to all the Giga Texas employees who kept on working and building Model Ys while we got to enjoy the delivery event. Salute. Cybertruck specs and pricing. Okay, so yeah, I don't need to go anywhere for that now. Rear-wheel drive, 69.9. 250 miles range, coming in 2025. All-wheel drive, 79.9. 340 miles range, delivery in 2024. Obviously, you can do the range extender. The Cyber Beast, or Tri-Motor, at 99.9. 320 miles range, delivery in 2024. So delivery now for both of those two. Only the all-wheel drive qualifies for the regular tax incentive. However, because they are both so heavy, if you qualify for the accelerated depreciation for business, you can do the bonus depreciation on these. But because they are passenger vehicles, I don't think you can do the same as if they were a cargo van. You think you only get 25%. But talk to your tax professional about the details of the accelerated depreciation for vehicles weighing over 6,000 pounds. Rear-wheel drive, Cyber Beast, all-wheel drive. And that's a wrap on the Cybertruck deliveries. So this part was the least exciting if you weren't getting your truck that day. The very lucky very first Cybertruck owner right there. Cybertruck deliveries begin now. Cybertruck is faster down a quarter mile than a Porsche 911 while towing a Porsche 911. That was fun. If you saw the, I think it was Motor Week. They did a Model X towing a Alfa Romeo versus an Alfa Romeo, and this was a redo of that. A Cybertruck towing a Porsche 911 versus a Porsche 911, probably the slowest model. Kyle says it was a Euro one with illegal US lights. I don't know what any of that means. Just because in that brief flash of a Porsche 911, I didn't recognize anything illegal. Cybertruck has a turning radius of smaller than a Model S. Cybertruck has 17 inches of ground clearance for insane off-road capability. 40,000 pound sled pull. That was fun. So they did a F-150 Lightning, a Rivian R1T, a F-350, and then the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck did a full pull, and it had to turn so it didn't hit the wall at the end. The reason they had the F-350 single they told them the F-350 was the one that did the best. Let's see if we're still on, because that looked like what happened to us the other day. Okay, we're good. Ooh, scared me. Exotic Geek says the hammer looks like the DC Comics steel. Hero steel. That's cool. It might have been inspired by. So then the Cybertruck bulletproof test with Tommy gun. We saw the end result of that, and then there's the test right there. So we'd wondered after we saw this thing running about if they'd show it. They put the windows down in case they missed. It would go straight through the truck. A bit of a toned down armor glass demo from Woodhouse. Yes, it was super lame. It bounced. And so what he could have done was switched it for a steel ball there, or just cut that out entirely.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think we could probably have a pro picture.
That's not a steel ball.
Right, exactly. It's not a steel ball.
Yeah.
That was like it was universally panned by like everybody, Tesla fans, non-fans alike. Cybertruck is more utility than a truck, faster than a sports car. And then Elon said something else entirely, and his brother heckled him from backstage. Everything seems ready to go, waiting on Musk, as usual. And then he obviously took the lighting guy by surprise because if you watched the stream or if you were in person, you noticed that his head was shrouded in shadows for most of the presentation because he can't be bothered with rehearsals. Looks like Lars might be the one swinging the sledgehammer today. Nope, no sledgehammer swinging. All right. Oh, because he was holding it. Get ready to boom. Be mine. Getting close. Live stream now live. Ready to be delivered. Here we go. Tow hitch fully integrated. The angular bumper is designed with a flat bottom for improved aerodynamics, integrated tow hitch cover, and metal skid plates for greater underbody strength while off-roading. No liner required. This is pretty cool right here. Here's the bed, just hanging out. It doesn't need any liner or spray. It is what's called SMC, which is can't read that. See if I can open it in a new window. Yes, I can. One of the largest subassemblies on the line makes its way into the back of the truck using advanced suction cup technology paired with a automated lift assist. The truck bed is maneuvered and installed with extreme precision. The bed is made from sheet molded composite or SMC for added durability and eliminates the need to install an aftermarket bed liner. Also, is a little more scratch resistant and such than some of the ones you typically get. The previous station was Lurking in the Shadows, was a completed Cybertruck. Here is a Cybertruck. Uh, no, that's not it. Somebody has suggested that was a Cybertruck battery pack, but you remember that the Cybertruck and Model Y at Giga Austin are capable of being. Well, Cybertruck is only a structural pack, so there would need to be seats and stuff on it. So this is just the cart. So she was wrong when she said that. The white seat controls come with a partial white interior? Question mark. So it had the white buttons instead of the black buttons. The cyber cart. So that one we found out one of the engineers had some scrap metal and just put it on one of their regular carts. Confirmed. Cybertruck Beast mode for the tri-motor configuration. 845 horsepower. Dual motor is 600 horsepower. Cyber Beast features a rear drive unit with dual induction machines, active torque vectoring, and electromechanical front locking differential, producing a 845 combined horsepower. And there is the Cyber Beast drive unit. Cybertruck sail assemblies. Texas. And so the sail doesn't open, for those of you who remembered where Tesla showed that video of the sail being, or sorry, the photo of the sail being opened. It's another one I had to open elsewhere. So this is the Cyber Power Frunk, they call it. Sorry, the Power Gate, they call it. The Power Gate. Let's open this image in a new tab. And share this tab instead. It's not what I wanted. I said the image. A new tab. There you go. Power Gate, Tesla's first powered frunk. Each power gate is assembled on the level above. A lifter then drops it down to the point of installation. Power gate is has one of the longest LED lighting elements on any passenger vehicle in the world and reveals a hidden bench for 2 plus more than 7 cubic feet of storage. Now, I haven't seen anybody demonstrate like we saw with the Lucid a bench, although I have seen 2 people sit in the Cybertruck and pretend to open brewskis. Confirmed, Cybertruck is steered by wire. Probably another one we've got to open elsewhere to actually read it. Yep. So there's the rack. Image in a new tab. Share this tab. Steered by wire front subframe assembly. The drive unit, brake rotors and pads, drive shaft, steering rack, and actuators come together to create a complete subframe assembly. Rather than a mechanical steering column, Cybertruck uses steer-by-wire, an electrical wired connection to communicate the driver's commands to the vehicle. And this is clicking on it didn't make it any better. This is just assembly running down the line as far as I can see in this view. Under the Cybertruck frunk, looks like this. Partially built Cybertrucks going down the line. Cybertruck structural battery packs. I'll get a better view of this in a different post in the lobby, but we can read about the structural battery packs here. Because in the lobby, they didn't have this poster. It says underbody installation. Secured to the underside of the truck body, the structural battery pack is made up of structural podding and 4680 battery cells, providing added strength and rigidity to the chassis for improved safety. Go back here. making the connections. Um, it's about the same as it is on the big screen as on the little screen. Welcome to the Chassis 3 production line, where the final assembly. If I click on this, probably make it worse, isn't it? Oh yeah. So I like this setup here with you guys on the camera and the screen, but I need a one with more resolution or size or both. Well, definitely more resolution, but maybe more size while we're at it. Open in a new, not the link, open the image in a new tab. I'll show you this tab instead. Where the final, well, all right, maybe not. Where the final connections are made between the body and battery pack, front and rear subframes. On electrified monorail, the system moves each vehicle down the assembly line using an overhead wireless carrier. As the loaded carrier continues down the line, sail and fender are installed using fully automated equipment, as are the wheels and tires. West Subframe Street. Cybertruck windshield with a human for scale. Bigger and better. Each windshield is manufactured with a layer of borosilicate glass, making it 15% lighter and more scratch resistant, and better at reflecting light than standard soda lime glass windshields. It's also got a curve to it, so it doesn't do the signal mirror thing. It's also the largest windshield installed on a high volume production vehicle. Building the Cybertruck. Cybertruck production. They got steel water bottles, still water, for those of us that don't like bubbly water. Strength and durability. And here's the door on a mount. Here we see the front drive unit. It's got the electronic locker. I'm not even going to try to read that. The front desk looks weird with no one sitting behind it. Employees watching us all oohing and awing over the Cybertruck. Bigger is better. The body in white produces the world's largest single-piece door rings from hot stamped high-strength steel, as well as giga castings, the world's largest automotive castings. And here's the body in white. You might think it doesn't look much different than the painted Cybertruck, because it doesn't, because there's no paint. But they have like an anti-corrosive coating on the parts that aren't covered up. There is the rear subframe. And here's the battery pack I've been talking about this whole time. So we can see here it's got the structural pack because the seats are installed directly on the pack. And there's the pack. And the penthouse looks a little different on this one because my theory is that the rear seats go here. My theory is that that's because the extended range extender plugs into here rather than anything else. At first, before I saw the range extender, I thought that was weird that it was under the bed and that it was so proud from the battery pack. I was thinking, oh, well, the 4680s are bigger. Maybe there's just no room to properly integrate the penthouse. And then when I saw the range extender, my theory changed. In fact, I need to copy this link and I need to adjust one of my tweets with that. All right, so that was the factory tour. All right, I'll be right back with, like I said, I need to adjust one of my posts, and I'll do that now. like, what is that doing there? It's because so after I do this, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, so this is my X Cybertruck glove box. Is so cool. So it looks like it's power in, power out. And then Unplugged Performance is offering these wheel options. And then I was asking about that seat that I was talking to you guys about. And then Gregor Truck did the 360 view. And then I was asking that perhaps this is why the penthouse is under the bed and sitting on top of the casing instead of tightly integrated under the rear seat. Initially, I thought it's because the cells filled the casing so much. They probably do, but they connect. But it's easier to connect directly to the HV bus. Now I've got that linked to it. All right, so back to what we were doing over here. With galleries. Cybertruck range extender, bed-mounted battery add-on. Since Darren was there, he may have some further insight on it. Maybe not. CEO Elon Musk and Senior Vice President Drew Bagliano have shed light on the innovative feature. It's available for the tri-motor, Cyber Beast, and dual-motor all-wheel drive configurations, pushing their drivable distance to an impressive 470 miles and 440 miles, respectively. According to Musk, the optional toolbox-sized battery, it's the biggest toolbox I've ever seen, situated in the bed of the truck, designed to meet the needs of the Cybertruck owners going on very long trips or towing heavy loads up mountains. Musk's exact words there. Musk clarified that, whoa, hang on, guys. Are we still live? Everything just flashed on me. Um, Live. All right, we're still live. See if we turn it around. Let me get the camera turned back on. Well, I guess the camera's on. Let me get the screen that I'm using turned back on the camera. Okay, 30. Oh, I see what happened. It thinks that the screen disappeared. It most definitely did not. Let me close this and open it back up. No, I don't want to enable presentation mode. I've got it the way I like it. There we go. Okay, so we're back. Well, you guys are never gone, but I'm back. Dan says I still see you. And what's up? Okay, cool. So we used your article on. We used one of your articles earlier in the show. I forget already. So Musk clarified range extender will occupy a third of the bed. Pricing details are yet to be officially released. Some keen-eyed enthusiasts have delved into Tesla's website coding, suggesting a potential $16,000 price tag for the accessory. This pricing, however, remains speculative. And people thought that was high, but then when you priced out other retail battery packs for 50 kilowatt hours, and 16 sounded like a discount. So that probably also, normally Tesla accessories include labor, and so that's pretty important as well. I don't know why I'm looking up at the microphone. I guess because the camera used to be up above my screen, and since all these brighter screens, I can't see the camera anymore. General Motors EV Day is tomorrow. What to expect? What day is that? That was in March of 2020. We can skip that. Next up, he talks about the power share in further detail. Let's see if he's got anything that we didn't already discuss. Excuse me. Bidirectional power feature, power share, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to load, vehicle to home. Various outlets in the vehicle, up to 5, 9.6. That picture is easier to read than it was on Twitter, though. Notably, the vehicle-to-home system takes bidirectional charging to the next level, offering an impressive 11.5 kilowatt output capability. This feature allows the Cybertruck to serve as a power source for homes during outages or grid instability. What sets Tesla apart is its integration with existing products like the Powerwall. And then somebody else pointed out that this is the first time that we're seeing an official vehicle to X on the NACS connector, aside from where it said coming soon in the specs. The specs for NACS. All right, so seamlessly utilize power share, additional equipment, not only simplifies the adoption process, but transforms Powerwall into a massive energy storage unit, potentially exceeding 100 plus kilowatt hours while leveraging the Cybertruck's battery capacity. Yeah, so then you could only need a minimum of one Powerwall if you were looking at still having a Powerwall, and that gets rid of Musk's whole point or problem, whatever, about he's like, oh, but you take your car with you. This is why we don't need this. So obviously people were able to speak sense into him, and like I kept saying at the time, if you have one Powerwall that will carry the fridge and the alarm system and whatever else, and then when you're home and you need the extra power, oh look, there's a truck right there full of power. Tesla claims it can sustain the home for over 3 days, assuming a consumption of 30 kilowatt hours. Robust performance underscores the potential impact of bidirectional charging on enhancing energy resilience in homes. Moreover, the power share extends the capability to vehicle. Currently debuts with the Cybertruck. Tesla's branding strategy hints at integration into future vehicle models. Yes, that's what I was picking up as well. Company's commitment to bidirectional charging signals a paradigm shift in EV capabilities, setting the stage for a more interconnected and resilient energy ecosystem. It also shows that they're more confident in the batteries, because part of the reason they didn't offer it on the earlier batteries is that they would wear out faster. I guess I just don't get comments on the small screen. That's fine. Share this tab instead. So look at range, price, and features. I think we've covered pretty much everything we know about that. Let me pull up some more articles. Let me find where we were in the articles before we went Cybertruck. It was IF Metal, then Cybertruck. Australia. Let's go to Australia. And of course, it opens in the window that we're in. Fine. What I will do, oh, you know what I can do? I can just keep throwing them up there. Send this tab to, that's a post fun ad. Share this tab instead. Close that. And that. Oh, wait, that's the Cyberfrunk. How did, oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. I closed what I wanted to look at. Did I? Yeah, because it moved. Oh, well, I'll open it again. And then we'll move it up there. Move tab to, I see why it did that, because it was another X post. We'll share this tab instead. And close the others. Australian state and federal governments have decided to crack down on reliability issues in the country's EV fast charging network imposing new standard that will require all state-funded installations to be working at least 98% of the time. The new uptime standard will be imposed in January of 2024. And then he had a link to the article, and I was going to read it with you guys. Excuse me, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. The point is, they have a similar problem to what we have for the non-Tesla chargers, and they are also doing something about it. Reliability is just one of the problems with non-Tesla charging networks. The other major problem is the number of chargers per station. It's unacceptable to have 2 or 3 chargers per station. Uh, if you're in a rural low traffic place where you might only see 2 chargers used, then yeah, having 3 would not be a problem. However, to consider 3 chargers to be a acceptable solution for a major route is unacceptable. And let's see here. Baby cries and grandpa calls her. All right, so we're not gonna look at the actual article. America's car dealers want to slow down on EVs, but for who exactly? It's an editorial from Inside EVs, and it's for them exactly because um, it doesn't do the consumers any good. It just helps them not have to make any adjustments because their manufacturers haven't made any adjustments. Hummer EV's markup hell is ending with a huge price crash. That's also from Inside EVs. Harley Davidson is the next electric live wire motorcycle to be a cruiser. We'll look at that one right now. Let's open it. How Uber is getting rid of its EV drivers' range anxiety. This one we were going to look at, but a friend of mine is an Uber driver actively now with a Tesla, and he says it doesn't work. So we will revisit it when it comes to it. If it doesn't work, it means he can have 20 miles on the battery, and it'll give him a 50-mile trip. Yeah, good luck making that one work. Neo and Geely have joined sources on battery swapping. We'll look at that. BYD hits a milestone with the Seagull EV producing 200,000 units. Congrats to BYD. Drive Tesla Canada on X says that Canada has reached 2,000 supercharger stalls with the opening of Mississauga supercharger. Congrats to Tesla Canada there. Europe, plug-in cars accounted for 25% of the market in October of 2023. That's Inside EVs with all the charts and graphs. Whole Mars, here's an official image of something. Let's take a look here. Oh, there's an official image of the range extender. We're going to kind of skip that because we saw it already. And what's this? A screenshot from the website on the phone. Power share we talked about. A dried up lake in California has enough lithium for 375 million EVs. So for anybody who says we don't have enough lithium, the third most common element in the universe, there you go. We'll look at that one. GM's top finance executive, Paul Jacobson, acknowledged earlier this week that the company's current EV lineup is operating at a financial loss. He said he remains optimistic that the tide will turn by the second half of the year. Somehow, by producing less trucks and less cars, they've slowed everything down. Somehow that's going to save them into profitability. Okay. A man threatened a mass casualty event at the Cybertruck event and was caught. We'll look at that. And we touched briefly on Amazon buying 3 launches with SpaceX for Project Kuiper. I don't think we need to talk more about that at the moment. And we talked about the Boring Company completing Westgate 2 tunnel with Proofrock 1. So let's move the rest of these stories up to the camera window. And we'll talk about it. If I can find the name of the window we're on. Yep, that's the one. Almost there. So what I need to do is get enough RAM that I can open all the stories at once, and then just move that window to the camera window. I don't know why they treat it like this. We're going to move this tab as well. Here we go. You guys are looking at Sawyer Merritt talking about fast chargers. We're now going to look at leaks reveal the next Harley Davidson electric motorcycle could go cruiser direction. So I'm not. That still looks like a Euro sports bike to me. That was kind of the problem with the current Harley Davidson Livewire is that they don't make sporty bikes. They make cruisers. Okay, yeah, see, that's a little more of a cruiser. I guess it's just smaller because it doesn't have all them pipes and stuff that would make it look like what we're used to with a Harley. Yeah, it's beefier than the current Livewire, that's for sure. So if you're into electric motorcycles and Zero didn't do it for you, there you go. So NIO and Geely, which is the parent company for Volvo and Polestar, these Chinese automakers are going to collaborate on vehicle battery swap standards, network expansion, and future battery swappable models. As we've discussed in the past, you have to be really big for these things to work, and you have to put them in quantity in a lot of places where people are traveling through for it to work out financially, because the batteries are expensive, and you can only swap if it takes you 5 minutes to swap, then you can only do 12 cars an hour per stall. So you're gonna need a lot of stalls, or you're gonna need to get faster than 5 minutes to swap. And then we talked about how many batteries you need on hand to make sure that when your hand goes from the 5 back to the 12, that next car can still charge. It means that you have to be able to fast charge all the batteries. Uh, you're fast charging all the batteries constantly, but you have to be able to fast charge the first battery by the time 1 hour has passed, because then you need to put it back in the car. But then you probably need to have another extra one or two in case somebody brings in a battery that actually needs to come out of service to be repaired. Otherwise, then you will now have a long line, longer line than typical at your battery swap station. So here's the article on Inside EVs about that. Put it in the chat with you guys here. Boom. And let's move on to the next article. If they make it work, that's great. Like I said, I think it only work in places like New York City and Tokyo and um, most of the places in China that are already putting these things. I don't see them working in the vast majority of places, especially if you have to charge for them. You'll have to charge more than just fast charging, because your costs are way higher than fast charging. One, because you're already fast charging, and two, now you have extra batteries on hand. A California lake has enough lithium to power 375 million EVs. California's infamous Salton Sea has been a known hotbed of lithium for years, but no one has had a sense of how much white gold has been found there. Now a new study quantifies that, and it's impressive. The huge underground reserve of scorching hot brine located underneath the lake bed contains enough lithium to build batteries for 375 million vehicles, making it one of the largest lithium brine deposits in the world. And with lithium, you can get it in a couple different forms. You can get it as a metal, you can get it as an ore, or you can get it from the ocean and then evaporate it as salts, lithium salts. The same process as table salt, sodium chloride. You can find it as an ore, you can find it as a brine underground, or you can get it from the ocean. Same tech. You're just selecting a different mineral out of the what evaporates. A new study from the USD Department of Energy released this week is the first to quantify how much valuable metal is down there. And it's a lot more than previously thought. Researchers from the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory say the reserves can support the production of 3,400 kilotons of lithium. Why not just say 3.4 megatons of lithium? To build batteries for 335 million electric vehicles, according to DOE. The US currently has 2.4 million registered EVs, and that data hasn't yet been updated for this year. Some say that the EV market is set to explode by 2030, with predictions that we could face a lithium shortage as soon as 2025. Well, not anymore. The Salton Sea is best known for being the state's worst ecological disaster. Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was. The state's worst ecological disaster as droughts, heat waves, and agriculture caused the water to recede, forming a dry, barren-looking lake bed alongside mass die-offs of fish from the high salinity of the water. But the Salton Sea has had a green energy reinvention of sorts, with companies of all sizes trying to assess how to extract lithium from the geothermal brine deep beneath the lake's southern end. And for a decade, it's been a source of geothermal electricity production. Governor Gavin Newsom has called the lake the Saudi Arabia of lithium. So if it's the one I'm thinking of, there's a nice documentary of how they tried to build a planned community around such lake before it dried up, and it was a mess. Of course, finding a way to extract and harness the lithium from a geothermal brine at a commercial scale is a daunting task. They'll find a way. There's money involved. They got it. We're good. Don't worry about it. Electric's take. This is certainly a compelling development in a very long saga of the Salton Sea, and it's one of those buzzy topics that I'm sure we'll hear about over the next year. Yep. But it's still a long bet from seeing this project bear any fruit. Yes, if it even should. The Los Angeles Times makes an interesting case, saying that no company has yet been able to extract lithium from the underground brine, and it's a costly, complicated endeavor, with the salt alone quickly corroding equipment. Like I said, there's plenty of ways to get salt, and be that lithium salt or table salt. We got this. No mention of the potential political hurdles of making this happen. Yeah, good luck funding and opening a mine in California. Uh, so as permitting and the cost of getting work crews out to a region with very little infrastructure in place, and surmounting any opposition from mining, although the Salton Sea is likely to be more in the clear in terms of that. Yeah, because it's a disaster area. Still, for clean technology to move forward, these types of critical minerals are vital, and currently China holds all the cards. I don't know why we keep going to China. I mean, yes, China does, but Canada's got it. Canada just costs a little bit more because they pay their workers more than China does. Or right here, as we see, we've got it in the States. It's just harder to get at. So the idea is certainly appealing. Environmentally friendly extraction, if that will truly be the case, a free-flowing domestic lithium source loaded with skills jobs in the U.S. We're all in on the dream. No comments on this one? I've got some. I didn't have the comment interrupting their take. To be fair, the Salton Sea was created by a man-made disaster too. It was never going to end well. So yeah, it is the one I'm thinking of. The area had undergone periods of there being a lake to a dry bed and back to a lake again, many times throughout history. Agricultural runoff and depleting the area of its water is what led to its current state. Yeah, a man-made disaster. Shoreboard habitat is crucially important staging area for the shorebirds. Oh, shorebirds. Shorebirds, not shoreboard. Uh, Migrating through the Pacific Flyway. As we destroy areas we see as insignificant to us, we create huge ripple effects for the wildlife. Yeah, but right now there's no water, so you'd have to wait for the be water in one of the boom bust cycles for it to matter for the shorebirds. And as the other poster pointed about the agricultural runoff, when we first discovered this, it was like all the fish had died, then all the birds had died, and I don't know that it's been made safe that if this thing is full of water again, that it would be safe for the wildlife. All right, let's look at this one. Florida man threatens a mass casualty event at Cyber Austin event. Close. I don't want this garbage. All right, fine. Be that way. I got something for you. Want to close? I got you. Oh, you're down. All right, so a man threatening a mass casualty event at the Thursday event at the Tesla factory drove from Florida to Austin to potentially carry it out. Uh, Ryan O. of Orlando had been charged with domestic terroristic threat, third-degree felony punishable up to 20 years in prison. He had threatened to hit people with firearms at the event, the affidavit said. He was arrested after arriving in Travis County, authorities said. The Austin Intelligence Center began investigating Tesla after Tesla was notified on November 10th about a group chat on Instagram the previous day in which a man later identified as this dude had made threats, the affidavit said. One of the messages said was he was planning an attack at the event, so it's up to you guys to stop me, according to the affidavit. Another message, according to the affidavit, said he plans on ending people on the November 30th event and would like you to do something about it so I don't have to. So he wanted to have the cops end his life. That's messed up. Super messed up. But thankfully, policing worked the way that we expect it should, and they stopped him and caught him, and nothing happened to the people. So they submitted a subpoena to Instagram to find out who was sending the messages and found out it was him. Investigations also discovered that he drove a 2015 black Chevy Tahoe. Traffic cam caught the vehicle at 11:13. Oh, this story has been fleshed out since I first found it. Found the vehicle at 11:13 a.m. on the 4900 block of US 290 in Southwest Austin. His cell phone was also pinged Wednesday in the 200 block of Almiron Way in West Austin, according to the affidavit. He's being held at the Travis County Jail on Thursday with bail set at $300,000. Hopefully, he gets the mental help he needs and he doesn't relapse because that is gross. If you want to take yourself out, don't take a bunch of other people out with you. All right, we're gonna close that and move this. No, I can't move this. So I want to thank Zachary for his donation. I want to thank all of our channel members for their continued donations as well. I want to thank all of you guys for your time spending it here this afternoon with me. I know you could have done anything else, and so I'm honored that you spent it with me. And we'll catch you on the flip side. I do have a couple videos I'm working on. That lithium battery with the Bluetooth and the heater is still at my feet right here. So the next warm weekend day, I'll make a video putting that in there. And then the video I made last year about the girls who missed Thanksgiving because they didn't know how to charge faster. At some point, I plan to get that done, hopefully before the next travel holiday coming up in 3 weeks, so that somebody can actually make use of it rather than it being 2 years after the fact. I need to find the files, make sure they're still accurate, and then I probably have to record one of these for the changes because since I made that, Tesla added a bunch of parameters to make the predictions more accurate. But the premise is still there that it will still kind of make the car have you wait too long at superchargers when you could go to another one on the way, which is not a problem if you want a hands-off approach. But if you want to get there faster, my way will help you get there faster. So thank you very much. Catch you later.